Hey everyone, welcome to Mull to 5. I'm JD, and as usual, I'm here playing the jankiest Tier 3 spicy rogue brews for your viewing pleasure. First things first, if you enjoy what we do here, please take a moment to like and subscribe. It's a quick and easy way to show your support and help out the channel. Also, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Main Phase Media. These videos would not be possible without them, so please check them out for all your graphic design and video production needs. And finally, if you have your own janky masterpiece you'd like to see me play, please leave a comment or shoot an email to the address in the description below. And now we'll get straight to the deck tech, and today we're doing another edition of Tribal Tuesday. We're going with mono black zombies today. So there's a couple different ways you can kind of build like a mono black zombie-ish deck. I've seen plenty of more of like a mono black devotion type build with like the Geralf's Messenger, but you curve out into the 4-drop Phyrexian Obliterator. You have like Nykthos as a land, that sort of thing. We're not really going the devotion route, and we're not going the hyper aggro route either. I figured if you're trying to go hyper aggro, you might as well play red and do like 8 whack goblins or something. So I went for kind of a grindier value version of zombies, so we'll see how it goes. But we'll kind of run through some of the cards here. Mana base is very straightforward. We have a copy of Cavernous Souls, makes our zombies uncounterable. Mutavaults are great in a tribal deck. I only have 2 of them though, because we do want to hit these double. We have a ton of double black and even triple black casting costs, so we want to make sure we're hitting our black mana sources consistently. So that's why I only have 2 Mutavaults. Getting stuck with 1 or 2 Mutavaults as our lands could really kind of screw us over. So a couple Mutavaults, tons of basic swamps, and then Urborg. And so again, Urborg is to help with the mana fixing problem. It can make it so our Mutavaults and Caverns can tap for black regardless. It is legendary. Yes, I do have 4 of them, so we will probably draw multiples sometimes. However, we don't really mind that because well, I guess mostly because of a card called Smallpox. This deck isn't built to abuse Smallpox to the fullest. I wouldn't say the deck is centered around Smallpox in any means. You could do like a white-black version. I've seen some of those to really get a ton of value out of Smallpox. Ours is just, it's a little bit of extra value. What this says, each player loses 1 life, sure. Each player discards a card, sacks a creature, then sacks a land. So with our extra Urborgs, we could discard them. If we have 1 on the board and 1 in hand, we can just discard the extra one to Smallpox's effect and not really care. Or we could sacrifice the 1 on the board already and just play out the new one if we have something else we'd rather discard. So the extra Urborgs we can throw away to Smallpox. It could hurt us, but I think the drawback is much less than the benefit of making sure we hit our black. So Smallpox gets us some value in some other ways. We have a lot of creatures, or at least a few, that don't mind being in the graveyard, so we can sack that creature or discard them. For example, the All-Star Gravecrawler. It's 1 black mana for a 2/1. He can't block, but I can cast Gravecrawler from your graveyard as long as you control a zombie. So we can sacrifice this guy. If he dies, we can discard him. If he's in the graveyard, and as long as we have another zombie out, which won't be hard in this deck, we can just recast him from the graveyard. So Gravecrawler works really well with Smallpox. He doesn't mind being in the graveyard at all. Same with Dread Wanderer, not quite as good. To bring him back from the graveyard, you got to pay 3. And you can only do this if you have 1 or fewer cards in hand. So again, discarding to Smallpox helps us get down to a smaller hand size. So Dread Wanderer synergizes fairly well with that. Crypt Breaker's great. Again, we're discarding cards with his ability. to create more zombies. So, we could discard a Gravecrawler, create a 2/2 black zombie, then just recast the Gravecrawler. We could be discarding, like I said, the extra copies of Urborg, etc. So Crypt Breaker is a great kind of value engine, because his second ability is probably the most powerful. Tap 3 untapped zombies you control, you draw a card, and you lose 1 life. So card advantage, super important. We should have a board fairly stocked with zombies in this deck, hopefully. So when it suits us, if we're not attacking, we can just be tapping our zombies down to draw us cards. So Crypt Breaker is a great one. And then fleshing out the 1-drop spot is Fatal Push and Inquisition. So we're going to back up our creatures with some hand disruption and with some spot removal. Fatal Push shouldn't be too hard to trigger Revolt in our deck. We don't have fetch lands, which is kind of the common, easiest way to trigger Revolt. But we do have Smallpox, so if we sack a creature to that, it triggers Fatal Push. We don't mind if some of our creatures die, so we can send them into combat. Like I said, we don't mind if they're in the graveyard, so we can send a Gravecrawler into combat. If the opponent blocks and kills it, whatever, we can just recast it, and now our creatures died to trigger Fatal Push. So even without the fetch lands, I figure Fatal Push should be fairly easy to get the most value out of. Then moving to the 2-drops, Relentless Dead is a very powerful card. He is very relentless. A 2/2 for 2. Has Menace, so has to be double blocked. When he dies, you can pay black, return it to its owner's hand. So similar effect to Gravecrawler, but you have to have the mana available immediately, and it goes back to hand instead of onto the battlefield. So having an extra black mana available, this guy just comes right back. If you have a ton of extra mana lying around, you can pay even more and return other zombies directly to the battlefield. So Relentless Dead requires some mana to pay into it to get the full value out of it, but can be pretty powerful. I'm a little concerned with only 20 lands that we won't necessarily have a ton of extra lying around to use his abilities, but with our curve topping out at just 8 3-drops, I figured 20 lands is probably enough. We'll see. Talked about Smallpox a little bit already. Stromgald Crusader is a 2/1 for 2. Protection from white, which is pretty relevant. Spirits, humans are pretty popular. There's a decent amount of white creatures in those decks. It's dodges Path to Exile, one of the most popular removal spells. So protection from white is pretty solid. And again, you need some extra mana to pump into this guy to really make him good. So with only 20 lands, we'll see how it goes. But you can give him flying, so fly over any creatures on the ground to get in for damage, and you can pump him up with his second ability. So if he goes unblocked and you have the extra mana to sink in, you can make him swing for 3, 4, 5. Well, 5 would be pretty difficult. Maybe 3 or 4. But he's a zombie, pro-white, so pretty solid. The 3-drop slot in zombies is so crowded. You have so many options. So it was a lot of deliberating to come down to these two. Drolf's Messenger is a great, just kind of grindy creature. When he enters the battlefield, he drains the opponent for 2. Well, I shouldn't say drain because we don't gain the life, but shocks the opponent for 2. He does enter tapped, so he's bad at blocking duty when he first comes in. And he can't tap immediately to Crypt Breaker's ability, but I think his other abilities kind of outweigh that. So again, hits for 2 life. He has Undying, though, so when he dies, he just comes back as a 4/3. And so we don't mind sacking him to Smallpox because he's going to come right back. So we don't mind sending him into combat because he's just going to die. He'll come right back. So he's just kind of a nice, grindy value creature. Death Baron, I did want to have at least one Lord effect, and I decided on Death Baron as the best one. Everybody gets +1/+1 and Death Touch. So there were some other options, like there's the one that gives everybody Menace. There's the one that I think discards cards to make zombies, similar to Crypt Breaker's first ability. But for example, we already have similar effects to that. And like the Menace one seems better in a more aggressive deck, which is not exactly what we're going for. So I went with Death Touch. It's a static ability you don't have to pump more mana into, and it's a pretty good one with such a creature-heavy deck. Giving everyone Death Touch, it seems pretty good. We can like block with our Gravecrawler, our Giralf's Messenger, Relentless Dead. If it has Death Touch, it will kill whatever it's blocking, and then even if it dies as well, it either comes back with Undying, or we can just pay to bring it back, in the case of Gravecrawler or Relentless Dead. So I felt like Death Touch was probably the best ability, Death Baron being the best lord out of the available options, at least in this particular build. So that's what I went with. That's the main deck. Sideboard, I really just hate Tron, so I wanted a little more Tron hate. So I have a Field of Ruin in the sideboard, so we can bring that in, replace one of our lands as a little bit of land destruction Tron hate. 2 copies of Duress to supplement our Inquisition of Kozilek if we're up against like a combo deck or something, something that really needs certain pieces to work. We can hopefully try to rip those out of their hand. Nile Spellbomb is Grave Hate. That does not affect our own graveyard. So for example, Relic of Progenitus, when you pop it and cycle it, it exiles all cards from all graveyards, and we really want our graveyard around. So Nile Spellbomb gets around that. You can tap it to exile all cards from just one player's graveyard. And it does still cycle. You can pay, if you pay black, you draw a card and it replaces itself. So Nile Spellbomb's the best Grave Hate option in a deck that cares about its own graveyard. Damping Sphere, some more Tron hate, also Storm hate. Sorcerer's Spyglass is kind of a one-of catch-all. This could come in against blue-white control to check out their hand, hit like Teferi or Jace, that sort of thing. And then Dismember as additional removal, because sometimes our Fatal Push just won't be enough, especially if it has converted mana cost greater than 4. Dismember will hit like a Gurmag Angler or whatever it might be. So, and being a black deck, we don't necessarily have to pay the life for the Phyrexian mana. So Dismember seemed like a good inclusion. And that is grindy mono black zombies. And so I'm going to take this into a friendly Modern League, see how we do. So I'll see you guys in the first match. Thanks for watching.